Hi everyone, I'm Divya. I'm also going to be a senior. This is my ninth year in robotics and I'm the outreach group lead.
Hi, my name is Noor. I'm also going to be a senior this year. I've been on robotics for 8 years and I am the build and design lead.
And we are all very excited to share with you all the cool things we did in the last season. First is an international youth organization that stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. It partners mentors from local corporate sponsors with students from high school, middle school, and all ages to gain hands-on STEM skills and prepares them for real-life STEM careers by building, designing, and programming a robot. First uses a traditional sports-like competition model to prepare students to be technology leaders and innovators. As Frog Force, Novi High School's Hall of Fame first robotics team, we spend our time year-round building, designing, programming a robot, performing extraordinary outreach efforts, and more. So in our last competition season, we learned tons of skills in and off the field, and these have resulted in a very successful season. So we won our first district qualified, the Milford District competition, and we also additionally won the Autonomous Award, an award that celebrates a team's robot who has good and consistent autonomous programming. We also won the Gracious Professionalism Award at the Muskegon District Qualifier, an award that exemplifies a team that displays good sportsmanship. Additionally, one of our mentors, Mr. Tom Pospecial, won the Woody Flowers Award at the state championships, and we placed 12th out of 74 teams in our district at the World Championships.
So here's the game. So every year there's a different theme for the game, and this season was no different. This season was music themed. It's called Crescendo, and it involves the robot scoring in a 9-foot tall speaker, a 3-foot tall amp, and in the last 30 seconds of the 2-minute 30 seconds match, we climb onto a chain 29 inches high, and human players score onto a 11-foot tall pole. And that's basically the game. And about our robot, so this year our robot's name is Miggy Minaj, named after one of our head build mentors, Miguel. So we can drive our robot at any direction at 18 feet per second while spinning at the same time, so we can move and spin at the same time. It can pick the very flexible foam ring, and we can use vision to adapt over any terrain. And this is just a robot.
So our season kicks off with a game announcement during the first week of January, where we split up and brainstorm ideas for the functions and mechanisms of our robot. We design our robot using industry standard CAD programs to create 3D models of our robot and its subsystems, allowing us to fabricate each intricate part of the robot using CNCs, mills, and 3D printers, and also iterate quickly. And these steps are identical to those used in real-world engineering fields, and they will allow us to build a competitive robot every year. Now that you know how we design a robot, here are some of its coolest features. We use a swerve drivetrain, which gives us immeasurable maneuverability. We also specifically chose to have an under-the-bumper intake, which picks up notes when we're moving, and our arm mechanism is at an angle, which allows notes to go directly into our shooting mechanism, allowing for a very fast cycle time. And this is all enabled by a group of cameras and sensors our programming team uses. And in addition, our climber mechanism allows us to climb onto a chain and score a note 2 feet high off the ground in about 15 seconds.
So two of the coolest things we did as programming was increase our vision and our software, basically. So we take full advantage of our powerful drivetrain by implementing industry standard trajectories. We use advanced computer vision techniques and use machine learning with orange Pis. So they're kind of like Raspberry Pis, except they're from China and cheaper. So we have full self-driving. So in the first 15 seconds of a match, the robot is autonomous. So we use our 5 cameras and our note detection camera to see notes, pick up them and score them. And we have also developed a 3D robot simulation, which is helped us in this year like never before.
So we operate like a small business with different departments having specific tasks to help everything run smoothly. There are two main departments, the business and the engineering side. On the engineering side, we have groups like drivetrain, electrical, and game-specific design, among others. And then the business groups enable the engineering groups to achieve their goals by managing budgets, inventories, marketing the team, and reaching out to the community.
Our success on the field is in part due to Novi School District's strong pre-K to 12 robotics program. In the past season, there were over 50 teams in every school at every level of first. Last season, 7 of the 12 middle school teams represented Novi Middle School at the state championship, and 3 teams represented Novi Middle School at the world championship. To support all these teams, we have hosted events to help form and register teams. We've implemented new training for team coaches and hosted summer STEM camps for middle school girls. Not only have we worked to increase the teams from Novi, but we've also worked to support them by providing student mentors, programming classes, and hosting competitions. Since last season, we've implemented a new Robot in 1 Week program, streamlining our training efforts. We've also started 75 elementary and middle school teams in inner city Detroit by partnering with Detroit Public Schools over the last several years. We host workshops, virtual help desks, and competitions, and formed the Motor City Alliance in 2021 to train a group of Detroit teams to continue the work that we have been doing by providing resources and expanding mentorship to a growing number of teams in the city. There's still more work to be done, but the Motor City Alliance is set to become a fully self-sustaining robotics community and pipeline like what we've formed over the years here in Novi. Building on Novi High School's success as a unified champion school, we partnered with Unified Olympics of Michigan to add robotics to the unified program for high schools across Michigan. Unified Robotics partners 3 students with disabilities, the athletes, and 3 high school students as peers to build an elementary level robot which competes in a Lego Sumo Bot style competition. The Unified Robotics League is entering its 5th season with 8 high schools participating, including Northville, and we've begun providing resources to schools in California to expand the program beyond Michigan. By partnering with 6 different community organizations, we've completed over 400 hours of community service last season.
We would now like to take the time to thank our sponsors, whether it was monetary donations, others time to support, mentorship, or even lending us things like a 3D printer or different parts. All of them are a key reason for our success. We'd also like to specifically thank you, the Novi Community School District School Board, as well as the Novi High School for all the time and support you've given us throughout the years. We'd also like to thank Mr. Gunther, one of our representatives from Magna, and we will also give him the time to just say a few words at the end of the presentation, which is in a few slides. Thank you so much for your time, and here are the different social media platforms we are on.
Hi, my name is Günther Breuner, and I've been with Magna for 35 years. I'm Director of Engineering Services at our Novi facility here. On a personal note, I've been associated with this team since its inception in 2001, and it's been quite a journey. From very humble beginnings of about 23 members, and barely getting a robot on the field. Now they're dealing with autonomous drive, and on their first outing, they ended up being the winning team for those achievements. So that's on a personal level. From a Magna level, I would just like to say that we are proud to be part of this team, and not only proud for all the winnings they do on the field, but just as proud for all the stuff they do off the field with their community engagement, community outreach, helping the community grow in the fields that are the fields of the future. If you look at the skills that those students learn and acquire, those are the skills that we need going forward. And if I look back at the skills and the professionalism this team presents, I think we can all feel good about it, that those are going to be our future leaders, and hopefully some of them are going to end up at Magna. Thank you very much for your time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have any questions or comments from the board, or you have more to go through?
Oh, I was just gonna say thank you so much for your time, but
That's fine. But any questions for the kids, the students before they sit down, or?
Not a question, but a comment. I'm always impressed by what you bring on the technical side for the robots. It's very close to what professionals are doing in the auto industry today. So I think you guys are off to a great start having that skill set. So I am really looking forward to what kind of things you're able to do once you start your own careers and are in the field. So congratulations, very impressive.
thank you.
Any others?
I was just thinking to myself when, you know, I grew up obviously in the technology field, and as I was going through high school and college, I was always thinking, boy, am I going to be smart enough to be able to really have the skill sets to be successful in my career. And I got to be honest with you, my skill set at the time was nothing near what you guys have right now. It's really, really incredible. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And I don't know, because I don't know how you guys feel right now. I know your mentors kind of giving you a good idea of what's actually happening in the industry right now. But most of you guys have the skill set right now. You're not even in high school yet to actually be successful in the professional field right now. It's just incredible. So, congrats to you. Pretty incredible.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you. Yeah.
You know, congratulations, yes. Every year you come out with something innovative, whether it was the swerve drive or it's the cameras and the AI. And you kids, you listen to your mentors. I walked in on the build a few times and I can see it. And I told Janet I would pick on her a little bit. She's only been a mentor for you guys for 2 or 3 years, I think, but.
Going on 12.
And you don't even have kids in the program anymore, and you're still around. And Gunther, Magna has been such a wonderful sponsor of the group, and without you guys, it wouldn't have even gotten off the ground. And it just shows the dedication of the kids, of the, mentors, that you guys, really are learning from this. You're willing to listen. They feel great giving you something and teaching you. It's a win-win for everybody. And, thank you, Janet, for everything you do, because I was dealing with you, 12 years ago?
Thank you.
And like I said, Gunther, thank you for sponsoring the team. And, I'm really glad to see we also are growing the unified robotics, because those kids, they may not look like or act like it most of the time, but when they do that stuff, it just lightens them up. So, thank you very
You know,
much.
another thing I want to say, I'm
Go
really
ahead.
excited to see what happens and how you guys take advantage of the new space that you know is coming. Is there a lot of excitement coming from your group on that?
We're keeping an ear to the ground.
All right, super.
Right now, it's fenced off, so you can't check it out. But thank you, congratulations, and we look forward to next season, which, I know you're doing stuff now, but you don't know what the challenge is going to be until January, so. Good job.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That brings us, well, that was a celebration. It brings us to celebrations. Do we have anything other than the fall sports seasons have kicked off and all teams are utilizing what little space we have left?
I will say we had an exceptionally successful band camp this summer, just a couple weeks ago, and appreciate Mr. Dyroff and all that he does to make that. He's a great leader and pulls off a really, really impressive program. So the number of students involved with that is massive, and to get them all to play in unison and in harmony is impressive. So they're sounding great. I'm excited to see them perform this fall as well.
Yep. And they are sharing this limited space we
They
have
are,
too, very,
yeah,
very
for sure.
politely, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I'm curious, I see the kids at the high school painting their parking spots.
yeah.
I really don't know the process of, do they actually, like, pay for these spaces ahead of time? And who does the cleanup work from the previous,
Yeah.
from this previous spot?
It was a
Because
great,
somebody's gotta
uh,
be celebrated for all the work that needs to be done to.
Yeah,
to,
it's
repaint all
kudos
that.
to our maintenance department. You know, this was a partnership. The students came forward last year and they said, we'd love to do this. And Mrs. Carter had a vision to, you know, kind of listen to that and run with it. So we met with Mr. Dragoo, and basically we have our parking lot seal coated on a pretty regular basis. And so basically what happens is the students do pay for their parking spots, but we felt like our maintenance department was able to manage the resealing of those on our schedule to coordinate and coincide with the kids being able to personalize them. So it's kind of neat to see their personalities come through. Still to this day, my favorite one last year was one of the spots said, if you can read this, I'm late.
That was the one I was gonna mention.
It was so great. So, but they come up with some really cute and innovative ways to kind of show off their personalities. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Okay.
And the funds from that go to the senior all-night party.
Yes, it's a senior all-night party that sells that. This brings us to comments from the audience. Do we have anybody that would like to address any items under the prevalence of the board? Seeing nobody rushing to the stand podium, and we do not have any green cards, we'll move on. This brings us to our consent agenda. Let me find that. This is approval of minutes. Wasn't paying attention.
From the 23rd.
Yeah, from July 23rd. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the consent items, that would be A and B as presented.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Mena, supported by Mr. Mitchner. These do not involve discussion, so yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. This brings us to donations, the NEF donation, Mr. Micah.
Yeah, so we're presenting a generous donation. NEF is presenting a generous donation in the amount of $23,500 to help cover the cost of the following items. $13,500, which will go to help offset the cost of the Positivity Project this year. $7,000 to help offset the cost and actually fully fund the teacher fellowship grants that Mr. Jeremini oversees. And the $3,000 will go towards the continued care of our therapy dogs and their medical and grooming needs. And so we're presenting that to you with the recommendation that they accept, you as the board accept the donation with appreciation and thanks.
Mr. Mitchner.
I move that the Novi Community School Board of Education accept the generous donation in the amount of $23,500 as presented with appreciation and thanks.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Mitchner, supported by Mrs. Beaudoin. Any questions, concerns?
I'm just
Comments?
curious, what does the therapy dog care entail?
So it entails a lot. So
Okay.
if you think about
Short
grooming,
answer's fine, just-
yeah. So grooming, the handlers have stipends for vet bills,
Okay.
things like that, as well as
Because the district still owns the dogs in the
district owns the
situation,
dogs,
so
so
then
we
we're
help
paying
to-
for the care and the food and, okay.
the sometimes they're crates, toys, things like that. And I think that all of each handler does their own unique thing, right? But we do cover and try and offset those costs. So NEF has been a strong partner in our therapy dog program, and so this is another way that they kind of help offset those expenses.
Wonderful.
Mr. Mitchner.
Just a comment, I'm really grateful that we have a partner organization like that comes alongside and kind of adds fuel to the fire of the things that we're doing here in the district. So I really appreciate this donation.
That being said, call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 4-0. This brings us to our action items. Personnel report A, Mr. Micah.
Personnel report A are resignations, retirements, and new hires. I will turn it over to Dr. Carino.
Thank you. In anticipation of the new school year, we have been very busy hiring for our vacant positions. I would like to first thank our building and district leaders for their work in supporting the hiring process to ensure that we have the very best of the best in front of our Wildcats when school begins. This evening, we are very excited to bring forward several candidates for your consideration. Liz Allerton is being recommended for the Wildcat Launch kindergarten position at Village Oaks. Liz has previously worked as the lead preschool teacher at the ECEC since 2021, so she is definitely ready to hit the ground running with our little ones. Jennifer Beauregard is being recommended for the Deerfield School social worker position. Jennifer has worked as a social work intern previously in South Lyon and has clinical experience with children, adolescents, and families. Chloe Ruel is being recommended for a third grade teaching position at Parkview. Chloe obtained her master's in education from U of M in June and completed her full year student teaching experience in the Ann Arbor Public Schools. We also recommend Michelle Turnbaugh for the Village Oaks Resource Room teacher position. Michelle has previously worked as a reading tutor, intervention specialist, and special education teacher in Connecticut, Indiana, and Ohio. Kate Van E is being recommended for the middle school ELA teaching position. Kate completed her year-long student teaching experience in East Lansing while studying at Michigan State. We also recommend Bridget Horn as the guest teacher specialist and talent management and development assistant. Bridget has previously served as the Novi Middle School PTO co-president and athletics boosters VP. She has worked as an administrative assistant and communications specialist for John Deere and served as a branch manager for a local FedEx Kinko's. Lake Begley is being recommended as a self-contained special education paraprofessional at Deerfield. Lake has previously served as a guest paraprofessional in the district and graduated from Michigan State with a degree in chemistry. Stacy Hurd is being recommended for the Parkview secretary position. Stacy has served as a noon aide at Parkview since 2017 and has also served as a guest secretary over the past few years. Her focus on supporting students and staff will serve her well in this new role. We have a few retirements and resignations. Rob Beltz will be resigning from his role as a student success coach at Village Oaks. Kaylee Chichilla has resigned from her position as an MTSS 504 coordinator at the high school. Caitlin Harbin has resigned from her school psychologist position at Village Oaks. Emily Malinowski has resigned from her speech and language position at Parkview. Baby Thomas has resigned from her middle school testing center paraprofessional position. Elsa Puce has also resigned from her paraprofessional position at Village Oaks. And finally, Darlene DeBeglio has chosen to retire. We wish her well in this next chapter, and that concludes tonight's personnel report A.
Thank you. Get a motion? Mrs. Bodine.
Okay. I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education adopt the personnel report recommendations as presented.
Support.
Moved by Mrs. Bodine, supported by Mr. Mena. Any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes 4-0.
We have multiple of our new hires in the audience, so I will call you up in order. Liz Allerton.
Hi, thank you so much for this opportunity. Not only have I worked at the preschool here for 3 years, in South Lyon I was 12 years at the preschool, and then during the summers I teach first and second grade summer refresher, and then I also do tutoring for struggling readers. So,
Thank you for being here.
yeah, thank you.
Jennifer Beauregard.
Hi, everyone. I just want to thank you for the opportunity to work in such an amazing school district. I'm excited to learn and work with all of you and all the awesome educators. I'm a mother of 3. I enjoy hanging out with my children. And I'm really looking forward to learning everything from the educators at Novi and upholding the reputation that it has been, steadfast for years. So thanks for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Michelle.
Hi, my name is Michelle Turnpaw, and I have 14 years teaching experience in 5 different states, and so I'm thrilled to be at Novi. We moved here last year, and when we were looking at school districts for my own kids, I knew it was Novi from just all the research I've done. So I'm thrilled to be teaching here as well because I know the reputation, and the more I learn, like the robotics club, I'm thrilled for my son to do that when he's old enough. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm thrilled to be working here.
Hi, I'm Kate Van E. I am absolutely thrilled to be here. I just completed my teaching internship through Michigan State University, and I seriously could not be more excited and ecstatic that I'm starting my education journey teaching at Novi School. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to working together. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Again, thank you for this opportunity. I don't have a super long resume, but I've been substitute teaching and paraproing for about 2 years now. And this last school year, I did a long-term para subbing job at Deerfield, and I really fell in love with this district and the school, so I'm super excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Stacy.
Hello, and thank you for the opportunity. I started volunteering at Parkview in 2014, and I haven't left. So I'm hoping to be there for a long time, and I'm especially excited for our newest little nuggets, the Wildcat launch. So thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you to all the family members that came here. I know you didn't get recognized, but we would like to recognize you too for supporting our new staff and everything they've gone through up to this point and what they will be going through. So, thank you. Let's move on to Personnel Report B. Mr. Meinke.
Personnel Report B is our new administrative positions, and we have one person on our list in our agenda tonight. So Dr. Crano.
Thank you. We recommend Brenna McGinn for the Supervisor of Special Education position. Brenna has worked in the district as both a special education teacher and a teacher consultant since 2019. She has provided leadership and mentoring in her role to her colleagues and is prepared to take on her new responsibilities.
Call to question, or need a motion?
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the promotion as noted above.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Beaudoin, supported by Mr. Minchner. Questions, comments? I think we're making a good move here, so call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes 4-0.
Brenna.
Hi, thank you. I'm excited to begin my role as a special ed supervisor here in Novi. I am a Novi graduate, and I began my journey in Novi 30 years ago in preschool at Village Oaks, and then I returned 5 years ago as a resource room teacher at Village Oaks, and then throughout the past 5 years I've had the opportunity to work in almost every building with different families, students, and staff members, so I'm excited to continue working with them. And I'd like to thank my boyfriend who's here in the audience. My family couldn't make it, but I think they're watching the live stream. And thank you for all their love and support and encouragement. And also to Ms. Shaylee Patel and Amanda Squires for all their mentorship and guidance over the past few years. Also could not be here without them.
Thank you. This brings us to our Positivity Project Plan approval.
Thank you. The Positivity Project was presented at our last meeting by our Director of Mental Health and Wellness, Ms. Rosalie Johnson. The plan presented includes a 3-year rollout of the program, starting with kind of a soft rollout this year and then ramping up over the next couple years. This fills a lot of gaps in terms of SEL as well as character education that we've talked extensively about with our whole child initiative. And it also meets a lot of the components of our new strategic plan. So we feel excited about the program. And so the recommendation is there for your approval of the Positivity Project.
Mr. Mitchell.
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the purchase of the Positivity Project in the amount of $97,065.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Mishner, supported by Mr. Mena. Do we have any additional questions or concerns, comments?
No, it's just kind of cool that this is finally getting approved. I can still remember when we sat here interviewing superintendents, and this was your big presentation to the board. And so it's kind of neat that we went full circle on this, and looking forward to seeing how this really enhances our district.
Yeah, thank you. Timing's everything, right?
Yeah.
I also would like to say I'm super excited that we're getting this done. I also appreciate the fact that you presented it when you were in your interview, and then you talked to us at the board level about it, and that it actually came to fruition. It wasn't just an idea. So I know there was a lot of work getting it done and involved, and I think this is a great time to pull it into the district. So just appreciate that we're finally able to get this going.
Thank you.
Mrs. Boudoin.
I would just like to say thank you for doing a soft rollout of this. One of the things we've talked about a lot as a board, at kind of your insistence, is making sure that we are not giving our staff and administration too many new things at the same time. And with the literacy initiative this year and all that people are going to be learning with that, I'm very excited to have this available but not required this first year as people get more comfortable. So thank you for trying to accommodate the many things going on in so many classrooms this year.
Thank you for understanding that. It's huge.
Okay. With that, I will call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes 4-0. Brings us to our Panorama platform approval. Mr. Marco.
Also at our last meeting, Rosalie Johnson presented on Panorama. Panorama is a platform that will allow us to get SEL data through student surveys. It will also create an opportunity for us to have a more diagnostic survey platform that's holistic, allowing us to survey families and collect data from our staff on their well-being as well. So we think that this program is going to have many, many additional benefits that are far beyond just the surveying capacity. One of the components that we talked about in the presentation was the Panorama's Playbook, which is an opportunity for educators to have access to over 800 strategies and interventions at their fingertips that are research-based. It also is going to give us the opportunity in the future, as I appreciate what you said earlier about, slowing the rollout, but as this grows, this has the capacity to really help us revamp our MTSS system, including providing online documentation so that we're not dealing with paper folders that are going to follow people around, and we'll have kind of a platform that allows us to do all of that in one holistic space. So this is the beginning of what I think will be a very powerful tool for our staff as well as for our district as we're looking at trying to find out how our kids, how our families, and how our staff are doing. And so this comes to you for approval tonight, and the recommendation is there for your consideration.
Mr. Mena.
Yeah, I move that the board approve the purchase of the Panorama platform in the amount of $45,700.
Support.
Moved by Mr. Mena, supported by Mrs. Beaudoin. Any questions or comments?
I have a quick question. Am I remembering correctly that this is the program that will allow people to see like their M-STEP score and the iReady, and we can pull it all into one spot with survey data and everything can kind of,
I'll let Mr. Jeremini tackle that one.
is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's
This
absolutely
is
part
what
of the
this one will
rollout
do?
plan, but in later years.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
would be
so-
year one. Year one is really focused on surveys,
Mhm.
and the use of the SEL component and the playbook, and then also beginning to store tier 3 plans. So we build some expertise on that, and then we'll start to add the MTSS full component.
But that's like the functionality of this
Yep.
long-term will be then when you're talking about the needs of, maybe it's a tier 3 intervention, and that situation, you'll be able to see everything in one spot, which should make things more efficient and simpler.
Absolutely, more directed,
good.
more intentional, more focused.
Yeah, the future vision really is to have all of our student data in a place that we can easily disaggregate it, use it, and not just administrative staff, but teachers, right? Because they're the ones that need to be able to say, I wonder how my students are doing, right? Even ahead of getting them, so.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Great.
Mr. Mishner.
I was just gonna say, I think this is a fantastic bonus, because I didn't see it coming, and then you presented on it last month, and it kind of answered a whole bunch of questions I had, and I've heard the board make about how do we manage this system, what's the deal with this other system, and it just seemed to kind of come out of nowhere, but I'm really excited about it, and looking forward to us being able to get it up and rolling. I think that'll be really good tool for the district.
So are we, thank you.
No other questions? I will call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes 4-0. Brings us to our NCSD student handbook approval. Mr. Micah.
Yes, this is our opportunity to, for the first time in a while, have a consistent handbook that we're able to use for our students. During the 23-24 school year, we had a handbook revision team led by Dr. Carino, who did an exhaustive look at our current policies and then tried to draft a handbook in consultation with Troon Law Firm, who is our policy fiduciary. So one of the things that I would just like to highlight on this was presented at the last meeting. There are changes that need to happen to the handbook already since it's been presented to you. And what I will just kind of say to that point is that handbook changes must follow policy changes, and so the policy committee is gonna have to review, a handful of additional policies, and when those policies are reviewed by the board, and if ultimately approved by the board, then we will bring back the handbook for those revisions that mirror what the new policies would be. So I just wanted to make sure I put that out there as you're considering this approval tonight.
Thank you. We have a motion. Mrs. Baudouin.
I move that the Novi Community School District approve the student handbook, Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the student handbook as presented.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Baudouin, supported by Mr. Mishner. Any questions? Just shows how fast things go around here. We already have to make changes even before we approved it. And your choice of words, that Dr. Carino did an exhaustive look into this. She's been very busy lately, so.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your hard work on it, and we appreciate it, and now it comes down to just the enforcement of it, so. Call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes 4-0. Thank you. This brings us to my favorite one tonight, Special Olympics Unified Schools, Champions of Change.
Yeah, this is really exciting for the school district. I will go ahead and apologize up front. Mr. Cook and I talk a lot about, and all of us do, about making sure that we have multiple board meetings, and so our energy and our effort is to do information and discussion followed by action. This came up kind of out of nowhere, and we're really, really excited. The Office of Special Education, Ms. Patel, brought forward this opportunity that was presented to become the first school district in Michigan to be a K-12 unified school, which is a tremendously awesome designation to have. We've been doing unified sports for a while. It's been expanded. We have some of our coaches here tonight. But I really am excited about this opportunity, and so while this is the first that it's been presented publicly, essentially what we're asking for is that in order for us to move forward, we have to sign a memorandum that allows us to become a unified school district. And so I appreciate Ms. Patel being here tonight, and she will be able to answer questions that you may have, but I think this is going to be something that we can be very proud of as a school district, and it is here for your consideration this evening.
We get a motion.
Okay.
Mrs. Baudouin.
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education, in the best interest of the district, approve the memorandum of understanding between NCSD and the Special Olympics of Michigan as presented.
Support.
Moved by Mrs. Bodine, supported by Mr. Mena. We have more questions, I assume we do. So-
We can let some of our wonderful staff share a couple insights about it while you're
Appreciate it, yep.
considering. That'd be good.
Hi, thank you so much for having us here today. I'm Abby Ray. I'm a speech and language pathologist here, a Unified coach, and the Unified Champion School Liaison for NATC.
And I'm Olivia Jones. I'm one of the self-contained teachers at Novi High School. I'm also the Unified Champion School Liaison for the high school, and I'm also a Unified Coach.
We also have Kathy Berwa here with us today. She's been super helpful. She works for Special Olympics and has really helped Novi grow our program. So she can also answer questions that you guys have today, but we're really thankful that she's here supporting us. So to start, just like what is a Unified Champion School? This is a whole school initiative that aims to promote social inclusion with students with and without intellectual disabilities. And then the whole school initiative really fosters interpersonal relationships and participation through inclusive activities that we put on at every school. And we do this at the preschool through transition level. So that's why our purpose today is to hopefully become that Unified Champions school district. And then this is really accomplished by implementing inclusive sports, whole school engagement opportunities, and youth leadership in all the schools. And you know, being a Unified Champion district is designed just to be woven into the fabric of each school, really enhancing what we're currently doing and providing rich opportunities that lead to meaningful change in creating a socially inclusive district that supports all of our learners in Novi. So these are the 3 pillars of Special Olympics and how we can be champions of change.
Special Olympics Unified Champion Schools include students with and without intellectual disabilities in 3 main ways: through inclusive leadership, whole school engagement, and unified sports. People often think because we have intellectual disabilities that you can't lead something. It's time for us to prove the world wrong and show them that we can do the same thing that they can do.
So just to quickly go over the 3 different pillars, inclusive youth leadership is something that we already naturally do in Novi, but it just gives students the opportunity to lead alongside one another, just to spread inclusion in the school and in the community setting. And then some different activities that we do for our peer-to-peer programs is cooking. Our students' favorite is the peer-to-peer picnics that we do. We do some of these district-wide and some just at the building levels. And then a lot of us do Friday game days. And then my favorite is whole district engagement. So this is something that we can aim to do to create inclusivity throughout our whole district. We do things like Inclusion Week. We do a homecoming parade that we'll all walk together. We do the polar plunge with Northville, and then fans in the stands. And then inclusive sports is something that Special Olympics is super passionate about. It's a mission to ensure that we provide year-long sport training and gives the students physical fitness and athletic skills to demonstrate courage, experience, joy, and just gives them the gift of sharing their skills with friends and families in the Special Olympics community.
So since we're going to be a unified district, we have liaisons at every level. And these are the people who really just help us uphold the 3 pillars of what Special Olympics stands for with being a unified champion school. So at VO, we have Chelsea Dixon. At Parkview, we have Lori Gardner. At Deerfield, we have Megan Mathis. No, that was right? Okay. At Woods, we have Gina Zielinski. At Orchard Hills, we have Marlene Krasinski, and then EC, we have Cassandra Griffin. And then at the upper levels, I'm the NATC liaison, Olivia is the high school, Lindsay Radke is the middle school liaison, and Megan Hodge is our Novi Meadows liaison, so we really appreciate them. And then here's another video about being champions of change and playing unified sports.
Unified sports is the activity, I think, in a school that grabs everyone together Whether they're participating on the field or watching from the sidelines, it gets everybody pumped and excited and seeing what specialness really is all about.
Unified Sports is a unique opportunity to bring a competitive sport to a population that hadn't had that before.
So we're super excited to have all the unified aspects through all our levels. You'll see that we kind of brainstorm through the pre-K and the 4th grade, and then obviously at the higher levels we'll participate in league play with the athletic department.
And we just put a slide in here of how being a unified champion district does support the strategic plan of having extracurricular and interest-based opportunities, as well as really fostering the connection and belonging. We want to give a big thank you for your support and dedication to making Novi a unified champion district. We want to thank Shaylee Patel, Ben Minka, the board members, Dan Ekinen, and so my team like Kathy Burr, and then our Novi Community School District principals.
Amanda, Don Wachowski through athletics, Dan, and then the Novi Community School District's cabinet, and then all our liaisons that have stepped up. We just are excited to be the champions of change and continue to live unified.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? Mr. Mena?
I do. So obviously, we've been involved, as was mentioned earlier, in us unified sports here since 2018. In fact, I remember being at that game. It was, and it still continues to be an excellent event to attend. And this is more for community members if you haven't really been to any of the unified sports, especially the basketball games at high school. It's really a must-watch. It's very, very entertaining, very uplifting activity to attend. So right now, are we only doing unified sports at the high school level, or 9
So
above?
currently we do league play at the high school level. You'll see that we do sport aspects in different levels at the lower levels, such as like unified PE, and where our gen ed students will come into our adaptive PE class and kind of assist them there. But the high school and then the middle school is going to begin to participate in league play as well.
So at a high level, what are some of the big change? How does this, what we're going to embark in, which obviously I think most of us probably support, how does this differ from where we're currently at today?
So with all of the schools being unified champion schools, Special Olympics gives a budget for each school to help support the programs we put into place. And they also support, they have like programs like So My Fit there. So they bring people in to help us make sure that we're being inclusive and give us other opportunities to do so.
So are we going to see more activities, more sports maybe?
Yeah, you'll
absolutely.
see Special Olympics a lot more in our district. Once we became unified schools, then Special Olympics will kind of hang out here and kind of join us in all of our different engagements.
So do other schools, other districts need to become champions of change in order for us to build out? Because obviously we need other schools to compete against, right?
So we compete in league play at the high school level right now with our KLAA groups. So yeah, we don't. Do you have anything?
So the lower levels, they won't really participate with like other schools right now. That's usually when you get into like the Meadows and the middle school. You'll just see more of like the district engaging with itself at the lower levels through Unified PE and then So My Fit.
Will that change with the Champion Change program, or we'll just see competition with other schools at the high school level?
No, you'll see the competitions within the school.
Yeah.
Okay,
So at the
gotcha.
lower levels, we work on like kind of learning the sports and learning how to work together as a team, which is like what developmental sports are. And then once they get up to the higher levels, then we bring in that more of the competitive sports. You want to talk? Yeah, you can.
Just add one, put that part.
Could you
to also.
can you just walk up there, because I think then you're not being seen by anybody online.
That's okay. The other part with that too, so at the younger levels, there's young athletes in developmental sports that we can run there where they're not necessarily competing against other schools. So really it comes into two, their league play is different from being a unified champion school. It's an added layer to it, but you don't have to do league play to be a unified champion school. So there's programs for, 2 through 7 is young athletes, 8 through 12 is developmental sports, and not all the schools do league play, which is okay.
Gotcha, okay.
So in other words, this expands it down into our elementary school buildings. And it sounds like it kind of mirrors how district athletics in the elementary school, we really don't do any inter-school competition. It starts at like middle school-ish level.
Yeah.
So it sounds like this kind of mirrors and goes alongside of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. I also wanted to say, I really appreciate how you tied it into our district goals. Good job.
Thank you.
I saw that and I thought, well, Mr. Mishner will be thrilled. I actually have a very general question because this presentation has brought something to my attention I'm not sure how I was not aware of, but this program works with students with special needs and then also students without that are just in our gen ed program. Can you speak a little more about that? Because I was not aware that there was a crossover on that, and I'm not sure how I've missed that detail now as I'm saying this, but I didn't realize how that partnership worked and.
The whole goal of Unified Champion School is developing authentic friendships for all students and then just inclusion. So with the 3 pillars, it's getting everybody involved so that everybody has a voice. So through the inclusive youth leadership, we want all students. And yes, Special Olympics starts with students with intellectual disabilities, but then that carries over for all students to have a thing.
That's really cool.
We have, our athletes are our students with intellectual disabilities, and then our partners are the peers. And for a lot of peers who don't have a thing, this is an amazing thing for them. Because you don't have to be the best athlete, the best student, you just have to be a good human.
Oh, wonderful. And how do students from the gen ed portion get involved with this if they're interested and are just finding out that this is an option like I am?
So this is our peer-to-peer, so we have the peer-to-peer program across the district that our social workers coordinate. So at K-4, it looks a little differently.
Okay.
They might bring the 4th graders down to the lower levels where we do adaptive PE. At 7th and 8th grade, we have the actual course peer-to-peer.
Okay,
And just like
through
at the
that.
high school, yes, and it was
Okay.
board approved a couple years ago, so kids can take that. So the peer-to-peer is embedded into this naturally, authentically, and then if we want this branding to be district-wide, we have that opportunity to do that. Well, if you approve, yes, it will be district-wide branded.
So the main way with this then would be if they enroll in that peer-to-peer course?
At the upper levels, but at the elementary, we kind of organize it with our social
Okay,
workers.
yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate the explanation.
You can
Thanks.
also do like unified clubs, like it doesn't have to be just a class. It can
Okay.
be things outside of a class too.
That's wonderful. I was under the impression that Unified was for just our special education students, and I did not realize that crossover. That's very exciting. Thank you. Appreciate the explanation.
Show up to a soccer game in the fall, a basketball game in the winter, a bocce ball game in the spring, and robotics competitions too.
It's very exciting.
So,
So is that a complete list? I mean, can you
That-
let folks know, like, all of the different activities involved with unified sports here at Novi right now?
Yeah, so on the sport aspect, we participate in basketball, soccer, and then bocce ball, which the KLA is now doing more of like a field day kind of thing. Northville hosted a field day last year. We're hosting it this year, where it's like a mixture of games, like games that you'd play at a field day, yard games. And then at the lower levels, it's more unified PE or like a walking club or different just sport or fitness activities.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mr. Mishner.
So on the practical side, I don't see any funding attached to this approval for tonight. So do you have all the funding and supports you need for this? Sounds like it's already in place maybe?
There's a grant through Special Olympics that the schools apply for.
Okay.
That helps fund the programs. The goal is with the memorandum that it's just part of Novi schools.
All right, perfect.
Are we gonna get some big banner to hang up being the
So
first?
all of the Unified Champion schools do have a banner that they hang, and then the high school we're also a national banner school, so we have banners in the gym as well.
And there'll be more.
There'll be more.
Okay.
Well, we do like banners.
We have our Champions of Change shirts.
Oh, cool.
There's a teacher conference every year that Unified puts on to get teachers or liaisons. They don't have to be teachers, they can be speech pathologists, anybody who's interested. We had 300 this year. And a lot of collaboration, learning, it's a great conference.
Thank you all for the work you're doing. This is really exciting, really
Thank
impressive.
you for having us
Yeah,
be here.
thank you. We appreciate it.
Any other questions? Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I do know kids that, as Ms. Patel knows, very familiar with a few of the kids in the program, on both sides. And really appreciate everything that you guys are doing for our special ed kids and getting them involved in these things. So with that, I'll call a question. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes 4-0. Thank you. This brings us to our information and discussion section. Mr. Micah, MESB call for delegates and discussion.
Yeah, this is annually. We have to select members of the board who will attend the delegate assembly. This obviously will be taking place out of district. The delegates need to be certified by Friday, October 4th. So we do have time. And so we're hoping to, find nominees who will be willing to be the delegates and alternates as the delegate assembly heads in. So we're hopeful that we'll be able to approve on September 19th, volunteers or people who have been nominated to serve as those delegates.
So because we have 8 slots, last year we filled all 8, or 7 of the 8 slots. Just because you either have to be listed as a delegate or an alternate to cast a vote. And so it just makes it, available for anybody that goes to be able to cast that vote, so.
I'll throw my hat in the ring.
If you want to be named a delegate?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if, it would be helpful then, if maybe just send an email reminder to see who's interested in what, and this way, when we approve this, the next meeting, it'll kind of be pre-filled.
We don't have to go through
And then we
the
don't have to
discussion.
go through the whole discussion.
We can include, I could
Be
include
public.
that in an update, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And if you don't want to be a delegate, you have to be an alternate and just in case.
Right.
Okay. This brings us to our Novi High School Hockey Cooperative Agreement discussion. Mr. Micah.
Yeah, so most of the school districts in the state of Michigan who participate in hockey run what's called a co-op program, meaning that they partner with another school. We were approached by Clarenceville High School. They do not currently have a hockey program, but they have a couple of athletes that are looking for a place to play school hockey. Hockey, as you know, is a sport that is oftentimes driven by club and travel. And so we are interested in this potential agreement because we think it will provide us some depth. In this particular arrangement, while technically we would be a cooperative with Clarenceville High School, it gives us an opportunity to dip our toes in it with a pretty low, I would say, risk of commitment. This would be a 2-year commitment. Both Novi or Clarenceville could pull out at any time. The other opportunity I think that this gives us is an opportunity to start small. Nothing on our jerseys would change. It would be Novi High School hockey. There would be no branding differences, nothing like that. This would just simply give a few of the Clarenceville skaters an opportunity to play, and it would give our team a little bit more depth and bolster our numbers a little bit. In the event that this is successful or isn't successful, we'll learn over the course of the next 8 to 18 months, and we'll have a pretty good idea on whether this is something we would want to continue with or if we need to back out early. But essentially, the board would have to approve the opportunity for us to do this, and we would ask for your consideration at our next board meeting. So bringing it to your attention today.
Mr. Mitchell.
Would this be our first ever in the district, or do we have other agreements, or have we done this in the past?
The district, to my knowledge, in hockey, this would be our first. South Lyon is a good example because they're our neighbors. They have a cooperative hockey program because they have 2 high schools, neither of which have their own team. They are cooperative. So sometimes it's as simple as, being even in the same district, but hockey is a very expensive sport that doesn't have as many kids involved as some of our other sports. So it creates an opportunity for them to be able to have a full team when you combine, multiple schools. We have enough skaters in Novi to be able to have a full hockey team, but this was intriguing to our program. Mr. Wachowski brought it to me, since they approached us. And, you know, we do have a few positions of need that, you know, I think this could be helpful in helping us, you know, move forward. But, yes, I believe the short answer to your question is that this would be our first time in hockey.
Okay.
Any other questions? I do like the idea of this because our hockey program, the participation has been dropping and, you know, it allows us to bolster that until, you know, kind of goes along with the professional team. If they're doing well, hockey does well. If they're not doing well, our hockey program doesn't do well. So-
That's very, very true.
So, it just, it's, the interest ebbs and flows, it helps us bolster it in the meantime, so. I like the idea of this. Most other schools in our area already have agreements around them, but, you know, Clarenceville is a smaller district that, you know, if we can help them out and they help us out.
One of the other things that's nice about this as kind of an entry point, most school districts that do a co-op, in my last district, for example, it was Swartz Creek and Flushing, they were a cooperative, and so you have a joint team and you have joint branding and both of the school districts' names are on the jerseys and things like that. So, you know, this is because we are far and away the bigger contributor of athletes. You know, we get to just, it's gonna continue to be, for all intents and purposes, the Novi team. And then it'll give us an opportunity to see if this is something we would wanna pursue, you know, moving forward.
Okay? And no other questions, we can move on. This brings us to our committee reports. This is the Capital Projects Committee of the Whole, Mr. Mena.
Yep, we met on August 8th and we had a very robust discussion on a few topics. And some of those included the status of the current bond schedule and where we're at with projects that were, well, we talked about projects that are completed. Some of them, we just have some checklist items that need to be taken care of, and then some discussion around estimated completion dates for some of the others. We, again, discussed timeline of some of the future projects, and we also had some discussions around the hiring of professional services.
Okay. Thank you. And then we had a DEI committee meeting of the whole prior to this, Mr. Mitchner.
Yep, so we just met, the DEI committee in general picked some topics that we wanted to tackle this calendar year, and we've just been methodically working through them. So tonight was a good opportunity to catch up the board and the community if they so wish to see what we've been doing. So we just went over basically the DEI district summary that the administrative committee got to discuss in our prior meeting. And we also had representatives from Village Oaks, from Parkview, and also from Novi Meadows of their DEI committees about some updates and things that they were doing. One thing of note is when asked if they needed any support or if there was anything they wanted to share, multiple members of the building committee shared that they were appreciative that now our hiring practices are improving and eliminating barriers to entry, so we are seeing more diverse hires in our district, and that was something that was unanimously appreciated by the staff. So I just wanted to make note of that and thank Dr. Carino for being able to figure out how to improve our systems so that we can really hire the best individuals for the job. And then also, we talked in brief about how the two programs that we just approved tonight, Positivity Project and the Panorama Platform, are also going to help the district meet our DEI goals. So overall, it was a very good meeting, and look forward to the next time the committee meets. Oh, and there was no public comment.
This brings us to our superintendent report. Mr. Micah.
Thank you. It's a busy time around the district. You know, we've talked, this week is tough for some kids because cuts happen, you know, for fall sports. A lot of our no-cut sports, though, have big teams. Our football program's reporting record numbers, which is awesome. So we have a lot of kids. Band has been, as I said, practicing for a while now. Everybody's kind of coming back. So our staff comes back next week, and we're just really gearing up for a full week of professional learning and supporting them as we kind of transition into the start of a exciting new school year. So this is a really fun time to be in schools. So we're very busy, but we're excited and lots of things happening. We've talked a little bit about construction. We do have a community open house that is scheduled for September 16th from 5 to 7, which will be a community open house for the New Meadows building. Our students will have been in the building for a little bit, and so it'll be an opportunity for now community members, other staff members, and people that would like to see the space really just see and celebrate what this district has to offer our 5th and 6th grade young people. So would encourage everybody's attendance at that. And then in addition to that, we have a town hall meeting at Novi Middle School on Monday evening at 6 p.m. To talk about some of the pilot with the Yonder pouches. And so anyone interested is welcome to attend that as well. And appreciate the board's support and for running lean tonight.
Thank you.
We're getting through everything quickly though, so I think we figured out who's been holding us
I
up.
think you're right. I was gonna make that same comment. That's right.
So I am making a big effort to be quiet.
I may be stepping out of line, but on the 19th, the welcome back to the teachers at 8 a.m.
Yes.
If you can make it to the high school auditorium.
Yep.
Just let Mr. Micah know and.
Will you
Thank you.
have
We'd love
coffee
to
for
have you.
Mr. Mena? Because I don't think he'll show up if there isn't coffee.
I think
for
there'll
him.
be coffee, yeah, there'll be coffee, there'll be a little, our food service department does kind of a district-wide light breakfast for everybody, and so that'll start at 7:30, and we'll start sharp at 8 o'clock.
Awesome.
Okay, this brings us to our administrative report. Seeing Mr. Jeremini hogged most of the meeting and held us up, he goes first.
Was I attending a different meeting?
Oh, he's turning all red too.
I was really confused. I was like, did I miss something?
No.
So a couple of my updates really echo previous updates. Our PD for next week, we're very excited to welcome our staff back. It is prepped and ready to go. Really kudos to everyone involved in planning, designing these professional learning experiences. This team works really hard to get feedback from the teachers and incorporate that into the design, so I very much appreciate their work. The literacy materials are inventoried, they are organized, they are delivered. This was hundreds and hundreds of hours of work. I really have to shout out to the literacy coaches who kind of led the charge, and we had so many volunteers help us. It really wouldn't have been possible to get it done without them. This is as close to perfect as it is gonna get in terms of everything being ready for our teachers and set to go. And then lastly, I want to acknowledge Mr. Combe, our Director of Curriculum and Assessment. He is hosting today and tomorrow, I'm rushing my week, a 2-day Cal Summit, our content area leaders. So these are teachers who are leaders in content areas and grade levels, really setting things in motion for the curricular process updates that we talked about in committee a few months ago, and even some more stuff beyond that. I'm really excited about that work. I was able to visit today and just appreciate everybody jumping in during the summer, even before they have to come back on Monday. So that's all I have.
Thank you. And seeing that Dr. Carino has been working exhaustively on hiring
She is
people and the handbook, she gets to rest a little longer. Mr. Kling.
I just love the explanation.
Right, like he's not just gonna be random about it.
Yeah, like.
And you don't know if he's gonna say something nice or mean, so you
If
can
it's
kind of hold your
random,
breath for a
that's
second.
scary. When you explain it, I can ease, I can see it coming, it just helps. So because we do a lovely thing in school, finance called modified accrual accounting, we're still in the process of closing our books. We have a couple things at the end of the year through July and August that we book back. Teacher contracts and revenue, state aid, stash report. So the August state aid stash report hasn't hit yet. It's gonna normally hits on the 20th, but it comes out, should have been out by now, but we haven't received it, so you know, more to come on that, but hopefully it's what they've been telling us all year round. With that, closing the books, that's gonna obviously lead to the audit, that's gonna be next week, or next month. Prepping for that. Today I was out walking Meadows and ITC. I know it, because it's not a brand new building, you might not know it, but there is a lot going on. The ITC walls are down, those are kind of getting cleared out. The old 6th grade house has really, it's just wide open. It's bizarre when you go in there. It's kind of hard to picture what it used to look like. In addition to that, the bleachers are up at the gym, so that was a big project that just finalized, and then the playground, I don't know if you had a chance to drive around back and
Is
take
it
a
up?
look. Yeah, well, it's not all the way up, they're still working on it, but you can tell where the ninja course is, I think, or not ninja course.
Obstacle course
Obstacle
is what they were
course.
calling it?
It's, it is way cooler than any playground I ever had. There's 3 basketball courts, playing time and court time's not gonna be a problem, but then there's also a separate turf basketball court / soccer court / whatever you want. It's pretty cool. I didn't have that growing up, so definitely excited to see that when it's complete and all ready to go for school. That's all I have.
Thank you. Dr. Carino, anything else?
I appreciate you saving the best for last.
You mean board communication? I don't know.
I'm not the only one.
Let the record show that wasn't said.
It was intended. We are very excited that Bear, our therapy dog at Village Oaks, will be transitioned over to the handler tomorrow. And so we are one step closer to having Bear at school. We had new staff orientation last week. It just seems like time is flying by. It was very exciting to have all of this new energy for our district in one room. They took a tour of the district on a school bus. They were very excited. We had different professional development sessions for them throughout the day about everything from payroll to teaching and learning, to talk about our strategic plan. And so just feeling the new excited energy for them to be in the district was very palpable that day. And we've just been hiring. So we continue to hire. We will continue to hire for next week's personnel report board meeting. And we're excited to bring new staff in front of our students before school begins.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to board communication. Does the board, anything they would like to?
I have a couple things.
Mrs. Bodor?
Pardon me. My allergies are crazy right now. First, I wanted to echo Mr. Kling's assessment that that playground at the 5-6 building is going to be really, really cool. I was very excited about it when I saw it. And I think that for that age group in particular, a playground where you can say, oh, I can do this, can you do that? Come on, let's go try this thing. That is like, in my experience, how children that age play. And, you know, I think that's gonna be a really fun obstacle course and all this. I think there's even a zip line, right? Yeah, so every child that is like a little unsure about switching over to that new building, I would encourage the parents to bring them over to check out their playground, because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a pretty big selling feature for them. And thank you to everyone that has been working in getting that building ready on time. And I know from when I saw it a few weeks ago, it is absolutely gorgeous, and I think it's gonna be amazing to have it filled with children. And then I also wanted to extend my gratitude to Mr. Giarmini and his team for getting all of that literacy content and materials sorted out. I saw a few photos of that process, and he is not kidding when he says that that was a ton of work. It was like a gymnasium, I think, filled with bins and stickers and tables, and a lot of people volunteering that I would not have anticipated seeing showing up to help out with this. So thank you to everybody who took the time out of their summer to do that. And then I also wanted to extend my thanks as well to Mrs. Polonsky and her team, and I believe this will be with you as well, for the tutoring that occurred over the summer to finish up some of our COVID grant money that we had. It seemed to go very, very smoothly, and from what I can tell, it was a fun experience for the kids as well as very positive for their education. And I'd also just personally like to extend my gratitude to Dr. Ellis, who did a wonderful job with the students she was helping with, as well as pulling in some other students when schedules changed for some other people who were helping with that. So I really appreciate her going above and beyond, and just generally am very proud of our district and the work that we did to help students make sure there's not that summer slide we always see. So it was a wonderful experience, and just again, thank you. Oh, and Dr. Carino, also, thank you for your efforts with the hiring, as Mr. Mishner mentioned. At that DEI committee meeting we just had, one of the staff members was saying that in her school, she had been the only person of color working there, and now she is not. And I commented before the meeting, but would like to share publicly, that when we see your data, that there's these incremental changes in how many diverse people are in our buildings, it sort of seems like not a huge change. So it was really wonderful for me personally to hear that, because it hadn't occurred to me that to go from one person to 2 or 3 is actually kind of a huge change if you're that one person. And I also think it's going to make a huge difference for our kids, and so I am just so proud of the work you are doing as well. And Mr. Kling, you're great also. But no specific shout out this time, but excellent job. Yes, so thank you all, appreciate it.
Okay.
You guys all make me very proud to be a part of this board, so thank you.
Any other board communication? A couple of things for me. First, the Special Olympics, Unified Sports, peer-to-peer, I think they need to be considered as part of the DEI. You know, they're all, it's anybody with a difference, and these kids have a lot of differences, so we need to make sure that they're included in that. The other thing is, I sent Mr. Mike an article here today. In also, it covers one of the other disabilities a lot of people have, Mr. Jeremy. Mattel, by the end of the year, end of this year, is going to have all their games so that colorblind people can play them. Picture a deck of Uno cards where you have red, yellow, green, blue. It's hard for somebody with color blindness to play that. So they're going to do that. And I think it's something we need to keep in mind as our teachers are, organizing things for their kids. Can't just say, you go into that yellow bin, it's difficult for them, so I think we need to keep an awareness on that. But it's nice to see a major corporation taking something that most people just kind of brush aside as, well, they don't have a problem. But I was kind of surprised, it surprised me to see that, but when I saw that, it just kind of sparked a little curiosity and interest, so. But with that, end board communication. Mr. Michener.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Okay.
Moved by Mr. Michener, supported by Ms. Banana. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? We're adjourned.
7:19 PM. Oh, did you have a little side thing going here?